Hey everyone, hope everybody's having a good first of the year. And talking about the first of the year here, I really was thinking about different ways that we could ramp up our Allstate financial production and life insurance sales and all those things that go along with it. So, it's not every day that you have somebody walk into your office and say, "Hey, I want life insurance," or "I need life insurance today." More often than not, it's about listening to certain words or mining those opportunities out of a conversation that you're having. So, with that being said, I had a great list here of some examples of some trigger words that you could be listening for, and when you hear them, they should populate, ideas or why this person may need life insurance or what their needs might be at this time. So, I kind of wanted to run through some of these with you and just to kind of reinforce these trigger words and hopefully something that'll stick with you and help us going forward. So if you look here, some of these are pretty obvious, but it may be something that you've not thought of before. So I just wanted to bring them up. All these kind of lump together here, but who just had a child or who is about to have a child. If you hear that in conversation, guarantee you we hear that a lot. So and so just had a kid, or I'm about to have a kid, or whatever it may be. That person has a need for life insurance. If they don't have life insurance, period, they've got a child that's dependent upon them, and if something were to happen to them, what's that child going to do? Are they going to be able to go to school? Are they going to be able to even keep the house that they're living in and continue to stay there? So I think those are two major points that we need to listen for, and when they do, immediately trigger life insurance. Also, what kind of pops in my head is life insurance for the child. Not everybody wants to have that conversation. Not everybody wants to think about the mortality of their kids, but truth of the matter is, we know that happens, and it happens every day where kids unfortunately pass away. And when they do, it's just as expensive to bury them as it is, an adult. So if we're looking at somewhere around $15,000 just for burial, who has that kind of money laying around? And everyone knows that you can get life insurance fairly cheap for a child, but it's just about bringing that up to folks and making them think about it. Whereas normally they might not want to think about it. Um, I think there's a couple different ways that you can do things like that. You can add child term riders onto policies for really cheap. Other options, though, I mean, you can write different type of whole life policies that we have available that could guarantee a child life insurance, until for life. I think really the main advantage of doing something like that is, say, my child, for example, wrote a policy on him that will run for his life, and the reason I did that is if something happens to him down the road and he becomes uninsurable for whatever reason, I want him to already have something in place so that he doesn't have to worry about that when he has a family. Um, so I think that those two main points there, who just had a child or who's about to have a child, are really big key trigger words that we can listen for. The next one here is who just welcomed a grandchild. Grandchildren are great. My grandmother or my mom loves my son. I mean, it's incredible. And I'm sure any of y'all that have grandkids know how it feels. But one of the great gifts that grandparents often get their grandchildren is life insurance. Or, they could contribute to something like a 529 college plan, some type of savings plan for that child, either life insurance or some type of college saving plan, things that we have available. And maybe they don't know we do, or maybe they hadn't thought about it, or maybe they were going to put money back, but was just going to use a regular bank account or whatever. But we could maybe do something that might help them grow. So the grandchild is another great one. Next one down is who's getting married. If somebody comes in and they're getting married, not only are they're coming in and sitting down with you, they're adding their spouse onto their policy. They may be even adding an engagement ring or something like that, which is important. We need to bring those things up about that scheduling that engagement ring, because if something happens, that's a big deal. But more importantly, are they buying a new house? Are they buying a new car together? Are they taking on new debt? Is your spouse, does she have student loans, or does he have student loans? probably before they got married, they didn't sit down and do a financial analysis of each other to see how much debt they were about to take on from the other person, but they're probably going to take some on. So they need more life insurance, or they need life insurance, period. You have another person that you're responsible for now. Um, and maybe they're younger and they don't know that they need these things, and that's our job. Um, I think this one is kind of funny. Who just bought a minivan or an SUV? You don't think about that when you're adding the minivan on there, the SUV. But probably if you're adding a minivan on there, there's a reason. Not every guy 35 wants to be driving a minivan, but if he's got three kids, he might. Now, if he's got three kids or he's bringing in a new kid, does he have enough life insurance to cover those three children, or does he have life insurance for all his kids? It's just a way to start up a conversation. When somebody calls in to add their 2014 Honda Odyssey on there, and you're like, "Oh man, you got a minivan. If you don't mind me asking, how many kids do you have?" "Oh, really? You got three kids? That's awesome. Now, do you have enough life insurance to take care of those kids if something were to happen?" Um, I think that's a great little one that we definitely, and I haven't even thought of before. So um, I thought that was a good one. I think the next one's pretty obvious. If somebody just bought a home, or maybe they refinanced and they changed their mortgagee, great opportunity to ask them about life insurance. And why? Because they just took on more debt. They've got a 30-year, $150,000 loan, and if something happens to them, is their spouse going to be able to pay for it? The averages say that if a husband leaves life insurance for his wife, she's more likely to not hurry to get remarried and not have to do those things in a hurry. She can make smart decisions and not have to move on as quickly if there is no life insurance there, because now if there's no life insurance, what is she going to do? She's going to have to jump to the next thing that comes available so that she can continue her life. So that happens, unfortunately. So we really need to bring those things up. I think the next three things here all kind of lump together. What should you think of when you hear somebody change jobs or lost a job or retired? Well, what you should think of is money. More than likely, they had a 401k, and now it needs to be moved, and we can do that. Um, Also, I really think on the retired side, where we've had some success this year, is talking to some people that are a little bit older that may have money sitting in CDs. If they just retired, it's possible that they have money sitting in CDs, and if they do, then they're not getting a very good interest rate. So we have some products that could definitely help them with that interest rate. And I think they say the bank rate right now on a 1 year, bankrate.com on a 1 year CD is like 0.29% interest rate. Where we have some fixed things that could do a lot better for them, but they don't know that, and they don't know they're safe. So change jobs, lost job, retired, all those things should trigger. These people need to move their money. They need to move their 401k, and we have the opportunity to help those people. Here's another one at the end about a small baby or child in the background while you're talking to somebody. Kind of brings up the life insurance. I think another one is, if you're talking to a family and it's not listed here, and maybe they're talking about their kids playing sports or whatever it may be. You got a kid in little league, and that family probably needs an accident policy of some type. I mean, kids are gonna get hurt. They're gonna break their arms, and deductibles and things are so high now on health insurance that they need to have a supplemental plan in place to help cover those expenses. I have a stepsister, and her daughter fell off a trampoline and compound fractured her arm. Well, she happened to have a policy through Aflac, and if they would not have had that, because she had some complications, there's no telling where my stepsister would have been. It really helped her. Um, and on the same point, not listed again, but when you're getting in the conversation about health insurance, and everyone's complaining about the rates on it now. I know mine's ridiculous with a crazy deductible. Um, our supplemental health policies are things that can really help people. And if you look across the industry, internationally, those supplemental health policies are what really are driving the industry. I mean, they're taking the place of normal health insurance, or not taking the place, but supplementing way more than they ever used to. Um, so it's something that we all need to learn a little bit more about. But anyway, I just wanted to make this short video so that you could see these trigger words, and they're saved in Dropbox. There's a folder called life insurance or life product information. I saved this there, and just take a look at it, pull it out, kind of remind yourself every once in a while. And when you hear these words, divorce, married, grandchild, child, change jobs, all those things should trigger something in your mind. And when they do, it's our job to talk about it with them. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I hope you'll have a good day.